Resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. See? We got to be on it, though. See? It's time, people. It's time. Because your adversary, the devil, is moving around seeking who he can devour. And he get in the minds, I can show you. You go to Job, the first chapter, it'll show you how he got in the minds of the Sabians. He got into the minds of the Chaldeans. Come on now. And had them destroy all that Job had, kill the servants. He got into their minds. Most High allowed them to do that. He said, put forth that hand. What hand? That left hand. Most High allowed them to do it. Because Job thought he was so righteous that shit doesn't happen to him. You know? We ain't, nobody is beyond not being touched with by the Most High. Most High can touch all of us anytime we want to. You better read your Bible to understand. Look, one scripture. This cover it all. Isaiah 53:10. All you holy and endowed people out there. Isaiah 53:10. Yet it pleased the Most High to bruise him. He had put him to grief. That's his only begotten son, of h.o.i. It pleased him to bruise of h.o.i. Put him to grief. He cried out, he said, hey, Most High, take this cup away from me. Let that will be done. His will was done. His will being done was, it pleased the Most High to bruise of h.o.i. He put him to grief. But you better than him. His only begotten son? I don't think so. None of us. So, none of us, more powerful than what he can do when he gonna do what he gonna do. We just gotta keep praising him. Glory be to his holy name. I don't care what he do. Glory to the Most High. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Allah, h.o.d.c. Praise the Most High. Look at because Israel went off. We went off. Like I said, we stopped following Most High. He said, learn not the way of the heathen. We learned the way of the heathen and so forth. Now we have a Day of Atonement. Hallelujah for the Most High allowing us to have this. Go to Acts the 7th chapter. Let's get a little bit of history on our story. Let's start at verse 37. Because the Most High did, the whole, when you look at the chapter, it gives us our story, really. You can read the whole thing. You can read it and see, how the Most High goes into, allowing us to understand our history. We're going to start at Acts 7 and 37. It says, this is that Moses which said unto the children of Israel, a prophet shall the Most High your power raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me. Him shall ye hear. This is my h.o.i. Prophesying, this is in Deuteronomy 18, 15 and 18. It said, this is he that was in the church. Now the church in the wilderness, who was in the wilderness? The children of Israel. So we are the church. The people. Not no building was in the wilderness, was it? Was it or not? No. It was the people. This is he that was in the church in the wilderness. That's how we prove we the church. The people are the church. Because, real quick, you go to verse 49. Let's keep on reading. He said, this is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spake to him in the Mount Sinai. So the angel was speaking to Moses in Mount Sinai, and with our fathers, our forefathers, who received lively oracles to give unto us. That's why people miss the angel of the Most High that was in Exodus, the 3rd chapter, the 2nd verse. That's speaking to Moses, because the angels are the spirit of the Most High, or the angel of the Most High, spirit of the Most High, same entity. But you can miss that if you don't know. The Most High told us in Psalms 104 and 4, he maketh his angel spirits, his ministers a flaming fire. So, spirit of the Most High, angel of the Most High, that's what he tell you. The angel was speaking to Moses. giving the message of the Most High. The angel identified himself first. In Exodus 3 and 14. Then he lets you say, well, oh, hey, because we Mashiachim. That's from 1 Corinthians 3:23. But if you'll see spiritually that angel, that spirit of the Most High, is that same spirit of the Most High that moved on the waters in Genesis, the first chapter, and the second verse, and even the first verse. We know as Hebrews, come on. In the beginning, h.o.i created the heavens and the earth, right? The powers created the heavens and the earth. Verse 2 identifies what we just read in John, the first chapter, the fourth verse. All things are made by him. Without him was not anything made. Come on. Mashiach Yahushua. But what was he? He was an angel, a spirit. But that takes spiritual understanding to understand that. That's a mystery. Okay, that's a lot of meat I just spoke. But look, but it's telling you, verse 38, let's go. This is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spake to him. The angel which spake to him in the Mount Sinai. The angel of the Most High, the spirit of the Most High, that spoke to Moses at Mount Sinai. And with our fathers, with our forefathers who received the lively oracles to give unto us. Because he told us in John 1, the first chapter, the 18th verse, no man ever seen the Most High. And he told him, you ain't ever seen him, you ain't seen the shape, you ain't seen none of that. Not the Most High. Listen what he gonna say. To whom our fathers would not obey. Hear that? Disobedient. But thrust him from them. Get on out of here. I don't want to hear that. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do it how I want to do it. That's why we jacked up now. And in their hearts turned back again into Egypt. Went back into captivity. Like a lot of y'all out there. Y'all still slaves. Y'all mentality is just like a slave. You Edomanize to the utmost. They did a hell of a job on you. Because you can't come to this truth. Some of you scared, some of you worried about this, that, and the third. All they gonna, man, you believe in the Most High, have faith in the Most High, and you can be here. Nothing impossible with the Most High. Most High make your enemies be your friends. Be at peace with you when you please the Most High. But understand this. Listen. But they turned back into Egypt, trusted in the slave master, Pharaoh, saying unto Aaron, make us gods. See, listen, this is what we did. Make us gods to go before us. Make us some gods to go before us. Most High did all these miracles, 10 plagues he put upon the Egyptians. And we over here chilling, and nothing happened to us. But he's tearing their butts up with all these different plagues. And the whole world looking at it, they like, wow. The power of the Hebrews, oh, man. That's why they say they came to these other nations. They've been glad to accept the Most High. But Israel, you see what it says? Verse 39, to whom our fathers would not obey, but thrust him from them, and in their hearts and their minds turned back again into Egypt, saying unto Aaron, make us gods to go before us. Yeah, let make us the gods like we had in Egypt. And as for this Moses, which brought us out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. Couldn't even wait. He was gone, what, 40 days? By the time he came back, most I said, you better get down there. They done went off. That's why he said, make us gods. And they made a calf in those days and offered sacrifice unto the idol and rejoiced in the works of their own hands. So we did. We had the Most High. Nobody in the world, he said, I only know you, Israel. We had the Most High. We looking and everything is cool with us, and the Egyptians going through all they going through, and we seeing it, and ain't nothing happening with us. He opened up the Red Sea, and we walked across some dry ground. Come on. And then closed up Pharaoh's armies, Pharaoh and his armies, and they washed up on the shore dead. And you get in the wilderness and act like you ain't got no sense at all. So listen. Saying to Aaron, make us gods to go before us. For as for this Moses, which brought us out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. Letting man be trusting that man. What about the Most High? And they made a calf in those days and offered sacrifice unto the idol, and rejoiced in the works of their own hands. Then the Most High turned and gave them up to worship the host of heaven. Most High gave us up to worship the host of heaven, as it is written in the book of the prophets. O ye house of Israel, have ye offered to me slain beasts and sacrifices for the space of 40 years in the wilderness? Made us walk around in the wilderness 40 years and kill every last adult, every last one of us. That's why a lot of you think, oh, I'm already going to make it to the kingdom. We got to go through a purging again. He's going to purge out the rebels. He killed every last adult. We came out of Israel with 600,000 men. He killed 598,000 out of 600,000 men. And he killed all the women. And brought out children. And it allowed Caleb and Joshua, 2 men. That's why y'all talk about multitudes, man. 2 men. Y'all realize that? 2 men and the children that we had in those 40 years went into the promised land of Canaan. 2 men. 600,000. 2 men. That's all. Y'all better recognize. Say, yeah, he took up the tabernacle of Molech and the star of your god Remphan. I mean, Molech is an Ammonite god, you know. And the star of the god Remphan is like worshiping Saturn. Figures which he made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. They worship these things. See, our fathers had the tabernacles of witness in the wilderness, as he had appointed, speaking unto Moses, that he should make it according to the fashion that he had seen, which also our fathers that came after brought in with Mashiach Yahushai, with Yahushai into the possession of the Gentiles, whom the Most High drave out before the face of our fathers unto the days of David. Got rid of all these nations, man, for our sake. Drove them out, man. Who found favor before the Most High, King David, and desired to find a tabernacle for the power of Jacob. But Solomon built him an house. King Solomon, his son, built him a house. That's why I said when you look at trying to figure out the Most High's ways and thoughts, the Most High ways and thoughts are not our ways and thoughts. Because Solomon came from adulterous and I don't know. I mean, what do you want to look at it? David, Most High found David a man after his own heart. He was always repenting and crying to the Most High. But David murdered Bathsheba's husband Uriah. He had sex with Uriah's wife, Bathsheba. She got pregnant. And when Uriah came home from the war, he go sit him out there to fight. He told him to go home first. So he went home, he laid with Bathsheba, that was his baby, right? That didn't work. He said, no, I ain't going home. I'm stay here, all the rest of the men's here, I'm gonna stay here. So David had him put on the front line so he would be put to death. So he was put to death. Then David took Bathsheba, his wife, Uriah's wife, and married her. She became his woman. And that baby that she was pregnant with, the Most High killed. And then the next baby that she had was King Solomon from that relationship. So when you say you know the one Most High, you know just that and third about the Most High, his ways and his thoughts are different than our ways and thoughts. He can say, this is what you got to do. I do what I want to do. He the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel forever and ever and ever. He do whatever he want to do. That's why we have an opportunity. You know, David did that, and it tells you David was a man after the Most High's heart. Own mind. He forgave him. And he allowed Solomon to build a house. He came to Solomon. Solomon just messed up when he got older. That's why you get older, you're looking at, you got ideas of whatever it is that comes in mind, because those same plays that happen to the older is going to still be there. You know, Them other nations, he got with them other nations women, and he started making idol houses for their gods. Most High came to him twice and told him don't do it. Most High speak once, say twice, man, perceive it not. Came to him twice, said don't do it, Solomon. I mean, he blessed them beyond all kings that had been on earth at that time. David had war for 40 years. He didn't have no war. Shoot, David put all the nations in subjection to Israel. So Solomon didn't have war. He was very wise. That's why a lot of the scriptures that he wrote, as far as the Old Testament, is from Solomon. Deep. So I gave him deep wisdom. That's why I said, but David had too much blood on his hand. He was a man of war. He fought for 40 years. Verse 47, but Solomon built him an house. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as said the prophet. See, Most High don't dwell in temples made with hands. So ain't no church you could build that the Most High gonna dwell in. Because he said what? Heaven is my throne, and earth is my footstool. So heaven is his throne. Heaven is everywhere. You got the fourth dimension, you got the ozone layer, firmament, you got heaven here on earth. He said, heaven is my throne. I got power, use, and authority everywhere. He said, and earth is my footstool. What house will you build me? Said the Most High, or what is the place of my rest? Have not my hand made all these things? See? He let you know you can't do nothing unless he allow you to do it. You better believe that. So, I want to look at Acts 14 and 13. Acts 14:13. Then the priest of Jupiter. Let's read because you see people they lost, man. I mean, lost then, lost now. But look at Acts 14:11. And when the people saw that Paul had done what Paul had done, they lifted up their voices, saying in the speech of Lycaonia, the gods are come down to us in the likeness of men. Because they believe in what? Idols. You know? He had healed this man that never walked. It says, and they called Barnabas Jupiter. They called Barnabas Jupiter. And Paul Mercurius, or Mercury. Because he was the chief speaker. Then the priest of Jupiter, which was before their city, brought oxen and garlands unto the gates, and would have done sacrifice with the people. Which when the apostles, Barnabas and Paul, they raised sacrifice. Mind you, on h.o.d.c, the ultimate sacrifice, had already ascended to the right hand side of the Most High. The Most High had already sacrificed him to please the Most High, to bruise him, bring his soul to grief, and raised him up on the third day, walked the earth for 40 days, and he went to the right hand side of the Most High. So now they're going to sacrifice some beasts for Jupiter and Mercury, so I guess. Verse 13, then the priest of Jupiter, which was before their city, brought oxen and garlands unto the gates, and would have done sacrifice with the people. Which when the apostles of Barnabas and Paul heard of, they rent their clothes, they tore their clothes, and ran in among the people crying out, and saying, sirs, why do ye these things? We also are men of like passions with you. Say they're going to do this for them. And preach unto you that ye should turn from these vanities, these things that has no merit, no value, worthless, unto the living power, the Most High Yahweh, which made heaven and earth and the sea and all things that are therein, who in time past suffered all nations to walk in their own ways, Nevertheless, he left not himself without witness, in that he did good, and gave us rain from heaven and fruitful seasons, filling our hearts with food and gladness. And with these sayings scarce restrained they the people, that they had not done sacrifice unto them. See? And there came thither Jews, certain Jews from Antioch and Iconium, who persuaded the people. They got influence on the people. And having stoned Paul, hear this? He got stoned. Threw him out of the city, supposing he had been dead. They stoned him. They came out of the city, stoned him. Threw him out of the city, thought he was dead. Howbeit, as the disciples stood round about him, he rose up. But this time, Most High is the one that orders death. He rose up and came into the city, and the next day he departed with Barnabas and Derbe. And when they had preached the gospel to that city and had taught many, they returned again to Lystra and to Iconium and Antioch, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So don't get it twisted. This ain't no easy task. He say, we through much tribulation must enter into the kingdom of the Most High. And when he had ordained them elders in every church and had prayed with fasting, they commended them to the Most High, h.o.i, on whom they believed. And after they had passed throughout Pisidia, they came to Pamphylia. And when they had preached the word in Perga, they went down into Attalia, and thence sailed to Antioch. They moving, preaching his word, from whence they had been recommended to the grace of the Most High for the work which they fulfilled. And when they were come and had gathered the church together, they rehearsed all that the Most High had done with them, and how he had opened the door of faith unto the Gentiles, to the Israelites, in a Gentile state of mind. And there they abode long time with the disciples. See? So, we were among the Gentiles, calling ourselves Gentiles. The apostles calling them Gentiles. Why? Because they were in a Gentile state of mind. Follow, just like most I said, learn not the way of the heathen. They don't learn the way of the heathen. Just like a lot of you learn the way of the heathen. Our brothers and sisters, they straight up heathens. They straight up strangers. They the scattered. They the dispersed. They foreigners. But they Israelites. They Hebrew Israelites. They're the tribes of Israel. They just don't know it. So, Hebrews 10:1 says, for the law, having a shadow of good things to come, meaning the law of sacrifice now. Not all the rest of the laws, but the law of sacrifice. That's a lot of things that people bring out of this Bible, but not realizing that most of the time it's talking about the law of sacrifice been done away with, because the h.o.i was the ultimate Lamb of the Most High for the ultimate sacrifice for the sins of the 12 tribes of Israel. Listen, for the law of sacrifice, having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never with those sacrifices which they offered year by year continually make the comers thereunto perfect. Year after year, we have the Day of Atonement, and we sacrifice animals for the atonement of our sins throughout the year. But that one day that we have now, the Day of Atonement, is they could never make the comers thereunto perfect. For then, would they not have ceased to be offered? Would they have stopped offering them? Because that the worshipers, once purged, should have had no more conscience of sins. Right? Breaking the Most High's laws. So, but in those sacrifices, there is a remembrance again made of sins every year. For it is not possible, listen, it's not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins. Hear that? It's not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins. We need a sign. Most High to give us a sign. We tell you, And 1 Corinthians 1:22 that the Jews require a sign. So he had to give us something, at least to try and say, okay, well, this will help us to be obedient. But no, we went to the left all the way and did what? Say, now you got your goat, man. We get ready to do this lick, man. Get ready to sin. No, we get ready to sin. No, we gotta have what it takes for the sacrifice for the sins. Give it to the priest and have it ready. Wicked. Verse 4, for it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins. Wherefore, when he cometh into the world of Mashiach Yahushua, he said, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me. And we read in Isaiah 53:10, the Most High said, please the Most High to bruise him. That body that the Most High prepared for the sins of the 12 tribes of Israel. That's Psalms 40 and 6. Go there. Psalms 40 and 6. It's prophecy. Sacrifice and offering thou didst not desire. My ears have thou opened, burnt offerings and sin offerings hast thou not required. See? And here go Mashiach. Then said, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me. I delight to do thy will, O my power. Yea, thy law is within my heart. See? Going back to Hebrews 10, verse 6. And burnt offerings and sacrifices. This is for the law of sacrifice. For sin, thou hast had no pleasure. See? Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me to do thy will. He already said, verse 5, wherefore when he cometh into the world, Mashiach Yahushua, he said, the sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me. He was that ultimate sacrifice for the children of Israel. It says, verse 7, then said I, lo, the same thing we read in Psalms 40th chapter, I come in the volume of the book, it is written of me to do thy will, O Most High. Above when he said sacrifice and offering and burnt offerings and offerings for sin thou wouldest not, neither hast pleasure therein, which are offered by the law. Then said he, lo, I come to do thy will, O Most High. He taketh away the first, that he may establish the second, through Mashiach Yahushua's precious blood, by the which will we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Mashiach Yahushua once for all. And all means a certain number. See, this is what it's all about. You know. And every priest standing daily, ministering and offering oftentimes the same sacrifices, which can never take away sins. They offer the same sacrifices, which can never take away sins. But they're doing it, they have this one day. Shoot, sometimes they had to put a rope around that priest when he go in the Holy of Holies. I've been over there, man. I wouldn't go in it, but I mean, because you wasn't supposed to go in there, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's sacred or not, but I just didn't go in it. But they put a rope around him, he'd go in there and pray to the Most High for his sins and his family's sins and all of Israel's sins. Sometimes he'd come out of there. That was serious, man. That's what, and every priest standing daily, ministering and offerings oftentimes the same sacrifices, which can never take away sins. But this man, after he had offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of the Most High, of Mashiach Yahushua. You see that? From henceforth expecting till his enemies, hear this, his enemies, the Mashiach Yahushua have enemies, be made his footstool, like David said in Psalms 110:1. The Most High said unto my power, Mashiach Yahushua, sit thee on my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. Prophesying, just what it's saying here. For by one offering he hath perfected forever them that are sanctified. We done read about sanctified, being cleaned up with this word. So, this is real, people. This is what it's all about. He is that ultimate offering. See? Beautiful. This is real. Look at Hebrews 9. Hebrews the 9th chapter, 22nd verse. And almost all things are by the law purged with blood. And without shedding the blood is no remission. Without shedding the blood is no remission. So whose blood was shed for the remission of sins for who? For everybody? Go to Acts 5:29-31. Let's find out. Hold that, Hebrews. We're gonna stay in Hebrews a lot. Hebrews 5:29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey the Most High rather than men. That's been our problem. We don't follow men or women or whoever and not obey the Most High. He said, you obey me, I'm going to set you above all nations. Here we are. The power of our fathers, who's the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, raised up a h.o.d.c, whom ye slew and hanged on the tree. Wicked Israelite gave him over to the Romans, who hung him on the tree. Him at the Most High exalted. Here we are here to show you who his blood was shed for. Him, h.o.d.c, hath the Most High exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel, the Israelites, and forgiveness of sins. That's who his precious blood was shed for. We, the children of Israel. Going back to Hebrews 9:22. Said, and almost all things are by the law purged with blood. Without shedding the blood is no remission. So ain't no remission of sin without the shedding of blood. That's why we go, if you can go back to Cain and Abel. Real quick. Go back to Cain and Abel. Genesis, the 4th chapter. The 4th chapter. Let's start at 1. And Adam knew Eve, this is the beginning, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, so Eve got pregnant and had Cain, I have gotten a man from the Most High, and she again bare his brother Abel. She had Abel. Abel came out next. And Abel was a keeper of sheep. Abel was a keeper of sheep. Remember, no remission of sin without the shedding of blood. So Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground, right? Cain planted crops and so forth. Abel was a keeper of sheep. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Most High. When he just said what? In Hebrews 9:22, and almost all things are by the law purged with blood. Got to be a blood sacrifice. And without shedding of blood is no remission. So Cain gonna bring the Most High some fruit, some crops, some greens, and some potatoes or something. Verse 3, Genesis 4:3. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Most High. But listen to what Abel brought. Remember, Abel is keeper of sheep. Look what Abel brought, showing you that they had the law. And Abel, he also brought of the firstling of his flock, the same thing he told the priest when we came out of Egypt, bringing it back to us, since we have been Egyptianized. It said, and Abel, he also brought of the firstling of his flock and of the fat thereof. That's the part that the Most High, we offer to the Most High. Let you know that's the law. The fat thereof, he had to cut it up, the heart, the fat of the sheep and so forth. And the Most High had respect unto Abel and his offering, because Hebrews 9:22, and almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without shedding of blood is no remission. See, it was therefore necessary that the patterns of things in the heavens should be purified with these. but the heavenly things themselves with better sacrifices than these through Mashiach h.o.i. For Mashiach h.o.i. is not entered into the holy places made with hands. He ain't down there going through no churches and so forth, or no temples, or no synagogues, or any of that nature, which are the figures of the truth, but into heaven itself. He at the right hand side of the Most High, now to appear in the presence of the Most High for us. Going to, that's why I say, no man comes to the Father but by me. And he's there to appear in the presence of the Most High for us. Yasharallah. For yet that he should offer himself often, as the high priest entered into the holy place every year with blood of others. Like I say, the Day of Atonement, he went into the Holy of Holies once a year, like we in the Day of Atonement now. For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world. We just went through the foundation of the world. First ones, the Adamites who the Most High chose, who was dealing with his law. He'd have to suffer all the time from then. But now, once in the end of the world, as he appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. But if you don't have faith in him, you have faith in the Most High, and the Mashiach h.o.i. going to the Most High for us, then this sacrifice is in vain. And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment. So Mashiach h.o.i. was once offered to bear the sins of many. Of many. And unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto salvation. So we got to keep these laws, statutes, commandments, brothers and sisters. You're not going to run away from it. You ain't going nowhere. You right there. 1 Corinthians 5 and 7. 1 Corinthians 5 and 7. Purge out therefore the old leaven. You got to purge out that old man. That wickedness that's in you. Where you're not humble no more. You just all rowdy. You got to get rid of all that. Before the Most High. Before he visits you. Or he lift off his mercy and grace. And have no spirit. You know, they got to purge. They ain't make them Moses to purge for nothing. You see the last purge, who he was coming after? Us. But understand, Most High is all we have. By some of Mashiach h.o.i. Listen, purge out therefore the old leaven. That's that old wickedness, the evil that's in you. Get rid of Satan. Don't let him have no power over you. Humble yourself before it's too late. That ye may be a new lump. The same as new creature, new lump. Now it said new lump. Be born again. Be that new man, that new woman. As ye are unleavened. Unleavened means you got rid of all the wickedness. It's a time of letting it all go. For even Mashiach, our Passover, is sacrificed for us, man. Sacrifice for us. Our Passover. Mashiach h.o.i. is sacrificed for us. Who is that? The children of Israel. Ain't talking about everybody. Go to 1 Corinthians, the first chapter. First verses. Paul called to be an apostle of Mashiach h.o.i. through the will of the Most High, who's the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Sophieus, our brother, who's the charge to unto the church of the Most High, which is at Corinth, the land of Corinth, to them that are sanctified by Hashem Mashiach h.o.i. called to be saints. So we must define the saints, because there might be someone that's just hearing that we are the children of Israel, and you done heard that song, or when the saints go marching in, or when the saints go marching in. Oh, I want to be one of the numbers. Here it is. Maybe you can be that. Psalms 148:14. If you are these people, because it says to the saints, right? So let's define the saints. Psalms 148:14. He also exalted the horn, which is the power. It means power. It's hip talk, power. Power of a bull, power of a ram. That's his power, the horn. He also exalted the horn, which is the power of his people. The praise of all his saints. I'm going to define the saints here. Even of the children of Israel. Hear that? Even of the children of Israel. Who are we? a people near unto the Most High. Praise ye the Most High. Hallelujah. So that defines the saints. So you look at, go through all these books in the New Testament that Paul is writing to. He said to the saints. To the saints. To the saints. So that's who he's talking to. The children of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel. So 1 Corinthians 5 and 8, it says, therefore let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice, which is, malice is, you can't go to, you can't be in these feasts, you can't deal with these feast days and not have the right spirit. Malice is, you angry, but you ain't got really no cause to be angry. But you got attitude or whatever, you can't deal with this. With the leaven, that's the wickedness of malice. You angry without a cause, proper cause. And wickedness, see? But with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. And we know that truth represents keeping the laws of the Most High. His word is true. And his laws is true. And his statutes is true. And his commandments are true. That's how you got to be. You got to let it go. That's why I let you know. You got to let all that go. That's why it's beautiful that whoever it is that can come back to this, like h.o.i said, which everybody can't have it because they too caught up on themselves. But if you let it go and just follow what the word says, you can have this. In John 14:27, peace, peace, peace I leave with you. He said, my peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. So the world, you can't look for this peace from the world. But if people don't have it, they look for somewhere else to give it to you. That's why they trust in man. Or man trusting in woman. He said, this peace is, the world can't give you this. Nobody in the world of Israel can give you this. This is a special peace and tranquility and calmness. He said, peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled. Well, you ain't concerned about nothing. Your mind is not bothered down with trouble. Neither let it be afraid. Most I don't get that spirit of fear. So this is so beautiful for us to be able to tap into it spiritually that you can operate with it. He said, whatever you give, you take what? Cheerfully. You can operate like that because you had that peace of a h.o.i. Even though you're coming this way, that way, that way, you still had that peace. You always can go through that. And it bothers people because it's like, oh, they don't have it. You don't have it, you better ask the Most High to give you. When he said, hey, pray to the Most High for it. Told you what to do. Ephesians, the 5th chapter, the 2nd verse. Ephesians 5 and 2. And walk in love, as h.o.i also have loved us, and have given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to the Most High for a sweet smelling savor, the ultimate sacrifice. That's why I say walk in love. What's love? h.o.i said, St. John 14:15, this love. If you love me, keep my commandments. So love is keeping up the commandments. 1 John 5 and 3. But it's the love of the Most High that will keep his commandments. Commandments are not grievous. 2 John 6. This love. But this is love, that we keep his commandments. Okay. You hear that?